Welcome to Utah PTA Pulse Podcast. My name is Corey Fairholm. I am the immediate past president and a host of the podcast, immediate past president of Utah PTA. This is Angelee. Go ahead, Angelee.
I'm Angelee Aedo, the Vice President of Advocacy, and we have a special guest with us today. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Amber Bonner, and I'm currently serving as the Education Commissioner for Utah PTA.
Woohoo!
All right, we're so excited to have you on today. It's going to be so great.
I'm sure.
It will be.
It'll be amazing.
Okay, so I want you to think about winter. What's your favorite, winter activity? Not Christmas, winter activity.
My favorite winter activity. So winter is my least favorite season because I hate to be cold. So my favorite winter activity is probably reading a book wrapped in a blanket while it snows outside.
Though in winter,
So you're not getting cold.
I don't really like to do the things that make me cold. I mean, there's lots of fun things, but do I love them as much as I love being where it's warm? No.
but in winter at least you can bundle up. Like when it's really hot,
That's true.
there's
There's only so many things you can take off.
yeah.
Good point.
It's true.
That's what I always say. I'm like, well,
The police get involved if you get...
yeah.
There you go.
We always do a big sledding trip, and we always look forward to that. It's really fun. So
My kids are all big now, so they don't love all the fun things. We don't build snowmen and, those really, not a lot. My youngest is 15 and my oldest is 26. And so, yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer when your kids get big.
well, this winter, whenever it snows, you better make those older kids make a snowman.
They're all 4 of them are at college. So they're not even home. It's such a bummer.
It's still in finals.
My house was so loud and now it's just quiet. Though actually they're all home for Christmas right now, so it's loud right now. Really loud.
okay.
In fact, this was me at midnight last night. Send your friends home. Go to bed. I'm old and tired.
I can't do this anymore. I could do it when I was younger.
what
Oh
about
my
you,
gosh.
Corey? You have a favorite?
Yeah, I love skiing. I grew up skiing in California, and I love to ski. I haven't been for a few years, but I think I want to get back into it. So
Yeah.
My kids were just asking if we could go snowboarding over the break. They really want to go snowboarding. So I'm like, okay, I will hold down the fort in the lobby and
in the lodge and drink
in
the
the
hot
lodge,
chocolate.
drink the hot chocolate while
Sit
you
by the
guys
warm fire.
with a book.
Yeah,
while
with
you
a book.
guys.
While you guys do that.
They were like, what? Hey, that sounds like the best
I'll
of
be
both
there.
worlds.
I will watch you.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a picture of you from the
I'll
window.
take a picture of you from the window. It's fine.
That's awesome. That's
Anyway,
awesome.
so yeah.
Well, cool. Well, you are the Utah PTA Education Commissioner.
Yes.
You've
I
been doing
am.
that for a few years.
I've been doing it since 2003.
Okay.
So this is my second term right now.
23.
Oh my gosh, I always do that. 2023.
23. I was like, oh man, you've been doing it for 25 years. Longer than I've been around.
No, sorry, 2023. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us what that means.
So education commissioner is a really interesting job. I feel like a lot of the commissioner jobs are because you're not super involved with individual units and with activities that are happening with the individual unit. And so it's kind of a different animal, I think, than what we really think of as being in the PTA. I don't have anything to do with reflections. I don't, I do in my local PTA. I help us in my local PTA. But I don't.
Amber doesn't want to wear the mic.
I don't want to wear the mic. It keeps falling off. But I don't, that you don't really do that kind of stuff. So more what I'm doing as a commissioner is kind of statewide paying attention to what conversations are being had and what things are affecting our schools, what legislation is coming or what rules are coming that need to be changed, what kind of the conversations that people are having about in the education space and what's going on there and what changes are happening and advocating to make those changes better for our schools, because sometimes changes end up making things better. Sometimes they end up causing a problem. And how can we, when we're putting something into place, the goal is always to improve things, but sometimes by the time that filters down to the individual classroom in an individual school, it might not quite do what they had hoped, whoever's making the change had hoped.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of just paying attention to those kinds of things. So mostly, I swear, I just watch a lot of meetings. I try to go to the USBE, the Utah Utah State Board of Education meetings. When I can't go, I always watch those from home. They have committee meetings that they talk about different pieces of what they're working on. I try to follow all the legislative committees that have anything to do with education. So there's interim committees or the appropriations committees that discuss where funding is going to go. Like, a lot of people don't understand that if a piece of legislation requires funding, even if that legislation passes, if the funding doesn't get allocated, then it doesn't go into effect. And so that's something I think that we've been more and more keeping our eyes on over the last few years also.
Yeah. And Amber's awesome at her job because she was a previous school board member. And so I feel like she knows a lot of the ins and outs of schools that maybe we didn't think of before. Yeah. You know,
I'm kind of the data nerd. I love spreadsheets. And so sometimes I like to really dig into the details and find out what's going on with things. So,
but she does a really good job at educating other people about what's going on because she's seen some of that behind the scenes work, and she's seen how sometimes the legislation doesn't go great when it's trickled down, or how it's gone awesome. You know, she's seen all of that, and so I love working with Amber. She's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
you do you explain things very well.
Yeah.
That people understand the process of how to do a resolution, or this is the education funding and this is why we should be aware of it. And so I think that's important because a lot of the, local leaders are just starting to get involved in PTA and they want to know how to understand so that they can have a voice as well.
I think when you're advocating, it's really hard sometimes to learn enough about the situation or the item that you're concerned about, that when you're advocating in such a way that what you're advocating for is possible.
Yes.
Or not possible or whatever. And so sometimes I think that having a little bit of understanding about how finances are set up, or who to talk to, or those types of things can make a huge difference in your advocacy. And so talking to someone who can help guide you to the right person to talk to is really invaluable.
Okay. And I think that's so hard because a lot of times, I was afraid of advocacy and where do I start? Who I talk to? What if I say the wrong thing? They're going to think I'm, not knowing what I know. And so I think if they could even just start with one person, ask those questions, and if that's not the right person, they can lead them to the next one.
Yeah. And I, over time, when I talk to people about advocacy, they're so nervous to talk to a legislator or a district administrator or a principal. Yeah. And what I tell people all the time is that person is also just a person. Yeah. So they have expertise in some things, but you have expertise in some things. And for example, if you're advocating for your own child, you are the expert on your child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so no matter what somebody says, well, we want to recommend this, if you know that's not going to work for your child, you saying my child doesn't do X, Y, or Z that doesn't work for them very well, absolutely advocate for that. But the other thing we need to remember is sometimes when you're talking to a school board member or a legislator or a USBE board member, they may also not know as much about what you're talking about as you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any kids who have needed special ed or, a lot of resource or those types of things. And so when I was serving as a school board member, one of the schools I was over had 2 self-contained units in their building. and the district was proposing some changes to how that format was going, and the parents were really upset. And I went in to talk to the parents, and I've been a school board member probably for at least a year by then. And as they were explaining to me how the district's process worked for these kids and why it was not working for their individual kids, I was blown away. Like, I had no idea that what they were dealing with was, first of all, what was happening, but second, the impact it was having on their kids and how it was working for them or not working for them. And so I was able to take that information back to me at the district level and say, hey, there's some things we need to talk about here. Like, this is not working well for these kids, and we need to talk about that and figure out how we can fix it. So I think you need to remember too, that as you're advocating, the person you're advocating to, even though they may seem like an expert because they have some title by their name, they may know less about what you're concerned about than you do. They may know a lot less about it than you do. And so don't feel like you don't have something important to say. You do have something important to say, and you can help them understand better what your school and your child's class look like. I mean, you may be talking to a legislator who's never been to your school or your class or your kid's class. In fact, they probably never been to your kid's class. So you know that better. You know what's going on in that classroom way better than they do. So, and I think most of them really, they want to do good things. They want to make things better. Just sometimes the perspective is limited. And so it's hard to craft a solution that fits everyone if you don't know what some of those perspectives are.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just talked to Yvonne Johnson in the previous episode, and she was like, they need to know stories.
Yes.
And tell them your personal story. And what a great way to do that. I've been in the classroom. I'm a volunteer in the classroom. This is what I see.
This is what my experience was.
And then they'll say, oh, really? Then, and have other people do it. I mean, if one says, if it comes from one person, oh, but now it comes from 10, something's going on. I need to pay attention to that. And that's the power of PTA too.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree.
Getting that voice
and
out
parents being in their kids' class and in their kids' school and talking to teachers about what teachers are seeing as an issue and advocating for not just your child, but the other kids in the class, the other kids in your neighborhood. They can't, legislators, USBE members, even your school board member, they can't know everything that's happening every day.
Yeah.
They can't. It's not possible. And so they need your perspective and your viewpoint to make rules and laws and decisions that are the best for everybody involved.
Yeah.
So.
And sometimes that's tricky because when you're making a decision for like the common good,
it can be hard.
It can be hard because sometimes that there are going to be these little ones that suffer,
that it's not ideal for them.
It's not ideal, so it's going to be a little bit trickier for their situation, and I think that's hard too.
But I think if you are aware of like what I would call the exceptions to the rule, that this isn't going to work well for these kids, you can always say, this is how we're going to do it, but we're going to have this other exception in place, or we're going to have, if we have a kid that this isn't working for, we can do this instead. Whereas if you don't know that there's those kids or these exceptions and you say, this is what we're doing, then what do you do when you have a child for whom that, whatever it is, isn't working well?
Yeah.
So I think additional perspective is always important, and you're the expert on your experience. You're the expert on your kid. You're the expert on, and so don't ever feel like you can't go to someone and say, this has been my experience. This is why this didn't work, or this is why this did work. This is why I think more kids need this or don't need this, or it's always, your experience is valuable.
It is very valuable. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a great advice.
Yeah.
Great. So you said that you work a lot with the Utah State Board of Education. And what's their role?
So
join us in part 2 with Amber as she explains the role of the Utah State of Education.